everything sucks. AAA games suck, modern Hollywood sucks, Unreal Engine makes things too easy so that we see all these trashy video games that are just churned out with just asset packs online. The world sucks, nukes are gonna go off every 15 minutes and there's nothing we can do to stop it. AI is a spooky, scary thing that I don't even understand how it works, and it's spooky and scary, and it's gonna be iRobot, so that sucks. You know what, a lot of the times it's very legitimate, it's very understandable that I'll speak for myself, I could be in such a negative mindset about everything. And you know why? Because it's the easiest thing in the world to point out everything that's wrong. Because there's nothing perfect, everything has a flaw, and you know what, if you ever say, hey, that thing's gonna fail, most of the time you're gonna be right, so you get to feel good about yourself for being right and being a negative Nancy. Like I said, there's nothing perfect in the world. The Dark Knight had that weird scene where they jumped out of the building with Rachel and the Joker was up there with all the rich people. Nothing came from it. Red Dead Redemption 2 has a broken wanted system. Unreal Engine 5 doesn't have an easy-to-use built-in dialogue system. There's so much to complain about in the world. But in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I feel like I at least should try my best, and I try my best overall to get a little bit better at this. And trying to look at the bright side of things, trying to not be such a negative Nancy, and as Hank Hill would say, be a positive Pete. 10 years ago, getting into game development had such a higher barrier. Usually you would have to go to an expensive school, move to a city to work for a big studio. The barriers to entry were so much higher. 100 years ago, we didn't even have to worry about getting into game development because you were worried about working at your factory job and not trying to get your arm chopped off while you were doing it. 1,000 years ago, you weren't mad about GTA 6 being delayed. You were mad that you were being conscripted into a war that you didn't understand to fight for some commander, to fight for Genghis Khan, or you were on the receiving end of that war and you were being raided and pillaged the entire time. 10,000 years ago, every meal was a boss fight. Every trip in the woods was you were risking your life. If you broke your ankle, you're dead. Game over. Credits roll. If you get a cut on your arm, you know what? It gets infected and you die. And you know what? Credits roll. So life's always been hard. And honestly, there's so many good things today that we have now that we didn't have before. But of course, that also gives us the burden of knowledge to have the desire and the ability to learn it all, and the desire and the ability to use it to do something productive in the world. So I don't want to seem like I'm being a Pollyanna. I'm not trying to be an over optimist that's being incredibly naive. I'm not trying to be Cypher with Agent Smith eating that steak and saying ignorance is bliss. We should absolutely call out real problems, the way that the game industry is broken. We should try and get better at improving our own works of art ourselves. So right now you can download Unreal Engine 5 for free, open YouTube, and have an abundance of resources completely free of charge, completely unpriced to learn these tools. You can open up Blender. They just came out with 5.0, completely unpriced. You just need a little bit of technology to be able to run it. Now, I mean, that's a barrier, but it's a much lower barrier than it ever has been in history. Yeah, and I mean, AI can be weird and scary, but you know what? It also gives us the ability to ask questions easier, to search through documentation easier, to explain things that are difficult about the game development process, and explain it to, like, I like it whenever I could get something explained to me like I'm a 5-year-old, and so I could have ChatGPT do that for me, and I think that's a good thing. Now more than ever, you have the ability to suck at a new thing without needing anybody's permission to give it a try. You have the ability to suck and get better at this new skill that you never would have had the opportunity to be able to do 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago. Never in the history of humanity have we had so much access for so many people to be able to do something like this where we could focus on creating art. You might not be able to make it your full-time job. I don't make it my full-time job, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Not all of us necessarily need it to be our full-time jobs. But if we have the ability to go, have it be our hobby, use our free time to go and have fun during the development process, and maybe at the end of it we create something kind of cool, I see that as a massive win for all of us, and I see that as a very good thing. I see that as something that I am grateful for, and I have that as something that I'm thankful for, that we are standing on the shoulders of giants of history, of the people that have given us this capital, the structure of society, that we have the ability to be able to do this. So if you've got a game in your head, 2025, 2026 going forward might be the best time in human history to actually make it a reality. I'm grateful for all these tools and opportunities and the country and society that I live in. I'm grateful for it all, and I'm grateful for you watching this video. Hopefully stick around for more of them. I try to make Unreal Engine videos every week. Hopefully you'll have a very good Thanksgiving, at least here in America. Elsewhere, hopefully you use this as an opportunity to be thankful as well. Thanks, have a good one. We'll see you in the next video.